Well, I'm doing my usual thing. I'm trying to tidy this desk so it functions with the iPad and with my eyeballs. My iPad and my eyeballs and my balls have to all be in sync. The iPad and the eyeballs, the balls, which are connected to my hips and body, also have to fit on this chair. And so I'm trying to figure out what I have to get rid of in order to see what I'm doing if I'm broadcasting, to find what I need to find if I need to find it, and that kind of stuff. I'm still not entirely happy with the iPad taking up so much of my room, but where I'm sitting now, I'll draw a picture of what I'm talking about, a side view of what you see, what I see. Here's my desk top. Here's my stool. Here are my balls, two of them. Here's my butt. Here's my leg. Here's my foot. Here's my torso. Here's my head. Here's my arms. So, and then there are drawers here, one of which is sticking out a little bit, which holds this iPad right there. So by looking up, I'm able to see what you're typing, and I can see what I'm drawing, and looking down, I can see essentially everything that I need to see here. And from the top view, here I am. Here's the iPad is a little bit to this side, being connected here. Tools and stuff are here. My workspace is here. Before this goosenecky thing that holds the iPad had been attached here, and then it would go this way. But now I've got elbow room over here, and I can reach all of the shit that's on this side. I can really, the only thing I can't do, which I used to be able to do before, is go into these drawers over here, which I don't really need to do so much now, because I moved the things that were in those drawers mainly over to here. So I'm able to get these. But the main thing is, I have a good deal of space. I just have to learn to use my left hand more to grab stuff from over behind this thing, so I don't have to put this down and then reach over the top or the bottom of this thing. So if I can just figure out how to do that, that would work well. Directly ahead of me, if I look over the top of this at all of this mess, it's a clusterfuckage of stuff, including the articulated holder for my iPhone that I was trying to broadcast from, which I didn't like for various reasons, and lights, and maybe I should just show you what this looks like from the other side. So let me see if I can do that. Shit, what have I just done? This is where the pens that I'm repairing are, the parts and the pens that I'm repairing, which kind of used to be in those drawers there. Now they're here. There's still lots of stuff in those drawers, but I think those might be pens I'm fixing for myself. I don't have to have access to those. These are the pens that I'm fixing, presumably to sell, or maybe to fix for myself, but they're here. Above this are all sorts of extra lighting if I need it, because of course photons in my house are hard to come by. Here's my lower jaw, upper jaw. Here's where my crown is going to go. No, wrong side. Here's where my crown is going to go. This area always gets a heap of debris on it, and and then this is always filled with tools and all sorts of nonsense. These are pens I've fixed that are in pockets that are meant to go to particular people. This is a Mitch pile, but he's fallen off the radar. There's other piles for other people. Oops. Behind me, these are pens that I will eventually move, and parts and pens that I will move to here, which is my collection, or elsewhere. In this drawer, these are pens I'm selling. These drawers, these are on a thing that has wheels, so when I'm done with this, I have to move all sorts of things back into this corner. That's one of them, so that I can walk into my kitchen. This area down here has more drawers full of drawers and boxes, rather, boxes full of pens that are sorted out by make or something, I don't know what. But the problem is, the biggest problem I have is that piece of carpet right there, because this, when my fat ass is sitting on that with the 220 pounds of me on top of it, it's hard for me to wheel over the bump. So it sort of constricts me a lot. I wish when I was laying the carpet, oh no, fuck. Maybe I just need a stool with bigger wheels that, or maybe what I can do is attach very powerful robocopter, smart robocopter blades. What are they called? Drones. Just tape a powerful drone on the bottom of a nice comfy pillow, and that can always just stay hovering. What do you think? Of course, whenever I drop something on the floor, then I have to find a light bulb, find a photon somewhere that I can aim to the floor to find the pen nib before I step on it or whatever. So this is what it looks like now. And yes, I know, oh, sorry. Yes, I know that it's just a cluster, but it's my cluster and it can work. But there are things that need to be figured out a little better than they are. Because it would be nice if I was able to always put my little tools away when I was done. my pens away, especially the ones that I know I'm not going to do anything with. And then when I talk with you, I won't be so frustrated. So Cedar, my friend Cedar Bylard sent me this pen as a gift, which was cracked, and now I broke it. So it has a really nice, flexible, responsive taper-right nib in it. So my options are either glue this thing together, and one day when the glue fails, I can take the nib out or take the section out and use it in a different pen, or I can try to find a different pen now. But at the moment, I have way more nibs and sections for these pens than I do have the barrels to match. So, and these nibs don't go in anything else other than this thing. So I need to figure out how to find more of them. I just bid on a lot of Waterman parts that showed a number of those barrels for that pen. The nibs all had been removed and probably scrapped. And too bad. But they also could have cracks in the barrels. So, you know, I'm not going to bid on things that might be cracked on top of their nibs missing. So my option is to see if I can find a different barrel, upgrade it. This is the most recent pen I bought, and it isn't quite making me happy yet. It has a very loud, affirmative, confident nib with absolutely not one shred of poetry in it. No, there's a little tiny bit of poetry, just a little tiny bit, where it has a little tiny bit of flexibility in it that will imply a little bit of personality when one writes with it, but it's a little bit too broad at its finest point for me to really like it. I most of the time I like these pens to have a finer point to begin with, or a broad, but the sort of medium point, really on any pen, a medium point that doesn't do anything is just loud. It's like a sportscaster reading the stock market, you know. Dow Jones is up 18 points today. The NASDAQ lost 3. The NASDAQ fumbled. I mean, it's just boring. And loud. Loud and boring. That's what this pen is like. But in my mind and in my heart and in my belief about a tool, there has to be someone, maybe it's a sportscaster that decided to go into the stock market. He will want this pen. This pen will when he writes his letter to his clients or whatever, he'll write those factoids with conviction. He doesn't even have to underline with this pen, because this pen, every letter, every syllable that this pen writes is underlined automatically. You know? So think, if you waste so much time underlining words. Buy this pen from me. Every word is underlined, not just the one that's important. Every single, conjunction, even when the conjunction isn't important. The slaughtered cow was atop the altar. If you were writing that, what word would it be? Cow, or slaughtered, or atop, or altar? This one, every single one of them is. So if you actually did want to emphasize the slaughtered part, you could underline that one. But everything is underlined with this pen. Available to you. How much is it? Well, Bob. Well, Bob, that's where I have to actually think. There's not always an automatic price on a pen. A friend of mine in Minnesota sells vintage watches and some vintage pens, and he has very, very complicated tags on his merchandise. And it's all numbers and letters. There might be something like Flex Nib written on it, or there might be something like chronometer written on it, or something. But there's never a dollar sign and a number next to it, ever. And in his case, it's because the thing you're buying from him comes with stuff. You're not just buying the pen or the watch. You're buying the watch with a certain amount of guarantee, we'll call it, with it. Yes, he'll sell you this watch for the cheapest amount of dollars. The cheapest amount for X dollars, whatever that dollar is, but you own it. Never show it to me again, is sort of what he's saying. I don't want to see this watch again. I don't want to hear you talk about it. I'm going to forget completely about it. But as you know, when you buy an old pen or an old watch or a car, something might go wrong with it, or it might lose a minute or skip ink or whatever, and you'll bring it back. And if you pay more money on this scale of more to less, it comes with a certain amount of tweaking involved. Okay, bring it back. If you don't like it, we'll switch the nib or something. Or I'll send it to the guy for the deep cleaning of the watch. The watch has been cleaned according to my tag. It was cleaned 4 years ago. It probably should be cleaned again, but maybe not. Maybe it'll keep perfectly good time for the next 5 years, and then you clean it then. But if you want me to clean it now, then it's going to be the bigger number. Come back in a week and it'll be ready for you. So anyway, that's how I sell pens too. If you want this pen and I'm never going to hear about it or you again, you can buy it right now. But if you buy it and you say, you know, I really don't like that nib that underlines every word. I find that I really want the pen to have a different nib. But I want everything else to be exactly the same. And then I'll say, okay, well, that's going to be an extra amount of money for me to give you that guarantee that I can fix it or change it or swap it out or something. So that's where the price. That's why I can't say what this pen costs right now. Do you sell wall number 2 nibs? Okay, we'll go to Luke. Yes, I can do that, Luke. You want to get one, okay? Well, I'm sure I have a wall number 2 nib that I can sell you. You can send me an email and it'll be in my inbox and I will figure out how to do it. Now, if I have a wall number 2 pen, I'll just get a wall number 2 pen right now. That's a wall number 4 pen. Is this a wall number 2 pen? Let me just see here. This is a wall number 2 pen with a wall number 2 nib. And if I take this nib out and take another wall number 2 nib and try to swap them, chances are they'll work, but sometimes they won't. Because the feeds and the hole that's cut in and the hole that's in a pen that would hold a firm nib, because the piece of gold is actually thicker, might be bigger than one that would hold a flexible nib. So cut the crap. Give me your email. Okay, I will write it down on a piece of paper where you can copy it down, and then I can. So it's Pierre Gustafson Studio. Pierre Gustafson Studio at gmail.com. I actually do have a Good Service Pen Company email. I should probably use that but I don't have that on all of my devices. But this will work. Pierre Gustafson Studio at gmail.com. I don't know if you can read that. Light on it. But the problem is, Luke, is one nib may not fit in a different pen, so they're not always as interchangeable as you'd think. But most of them will fit. Most of them are interchangeable, but there is a chance that one might not be. Okay. So anyway, pricing pens for me is difficult. I If I'm selling a pen to a collector, those are the easiest people to sell a pen to because they look through it with all of their loops and all of their X-ray vision, and they know everything about the pen. They know probably way more than you do about the pen. And if they want the pen, they'll buy it. And if it's has a crack in it that they didn't see, well, that's their fault for not seeing it because they're using very sophisticated loops and they know where cracks are. I don't have to tell them. One collector used to just ask me, he's a lazy guy. He said, "What's wrong with this pen?" So he would ask me point blank, "Well, what's wrong with it?" Well, nothing's wrong with it. It's a perfectly good pen. It works perfectly fine. Oh, you mean that tooth mark? Well, use your own eyes and your own loop, and you can decide whether that tooth mark is a flaw or not. So, but for someone that's going to be using the pen who doesn't really maybe know how to fix the pen themselves and things like that, I have to help them. And depending on the amount of help that they want or that they need, the price might go up. $18.30. Oh, silver quill. Oh, cool. Send me a picture of that. I'd love to see when you send me the email. I'd like to see what that is. So anyway, the often when people buy a pen from me that have never purchased a pen before, they get probably $200 worth of instruction, private instruction on how to use the pen. Which is free, by the way, my instructions. And you can probably find, I should actually probably do a dedicated YouTube that would describe exactly how to use a pen. But then again, I don't use the pens the way normal people use them. So I may not be the best person for that. Well, do I have to get up and do some actual work here? Oh, I've ruined my map. This is the map of the tragedy that I spoke about with Russell. I almost dipped my pen into the coffee. It's not where you dip the pen. Okay, everyone. See you later. Unless you're back, Luke. Are you back? Where did my phone go? Anyway, I'll see you all later. I need to get some actual work done here. Bye-bye.